Welcome to Talk Around Riyadh, the Wheel of Time showcast. I am your host, Joe Perry, here with my co-hosts, Jen Isgro and Tom Kokoza. How you doing tonight, Jen?
I am doing great. It's a very momentous occasion for us tonight.
Indeed.
A big anniversary celebration,
It's not an anniversary.
whatever. I don't know what to call it, but I had my coffee beforehand so I could drink wine in my brand new WattCon cup.
Oh, those are nice
During
cups.
Our celebration, it really is my first time using it. It has a nice metal bottom.
And a metal straw.
Straw with a rubber tip, so I don't have to
For his
do this all night. What? What'd you say?
He said for his pleasure.
For his pleasure.
The rubber tip so your lips or tongue don't get stuck to the cold metal straw.
Yes,
right.
that's very uncomfortable. So I am ready for tonight.
I'm gonna let's get an over or under how many times when I do my editing I can hear the metal cup.
Every time I pick it up.
12. I'm gonna say 12
But I don't
times.
put it down on the table. I put it on the
It's
floor.
gonna be
so
way
it's
more than that,
muffled.
Tom. I hear different cups every time I do editing. Yeah, it isn't our anniversary, but it is our 200th episode. Tom, are you excited?
Bicentennial.
It's our
I am
bright.
excited.
Bicentennial.
Is it okay?
Yes,
It's not
200.
twice in 100 years. Bicentennial.
It's 200 years.
200 years.
My cent is 100, isn't it? So
Yes,
200.
Okay.
And the EL I think references years. So I think it's 200 years.
I feel like you're making that last part up.
Yeah, the EL, like annual, centennial,
Actual.
So
actual
It's
200
bicent-
years.
bicentesodes.
No, yeah, it is. I'm just.
What is
But yeah,
what is
it's
200 in Roman numerals?
It's the annual, the N of the annual part. That's the anyway.
I'm
It's
gonna
a
look-
200th.
Is M 100 or C? C is 100, right?
C. It's CC.
So it'd be
CC.
CC? This is episode CC.
That's right.
DC.
No, it's huge. I was thinking about this earlier today. Like if you were to go back in time around 4 years ago and told us, hey, you're gonna be doing 200 of these and you're not gonna be close to done, I don't think we would have believed you. For many reasons, probably, but I think if you also told us you're going to be doing 200 of these and the second season hasn't come out yet, I don't know if we would have believed that either.
So that means we're going to do, if the show is out for 8 seasons, we will do 1,600 episodes of the show.
No. So
Well,
I've gone
right?
back.
Am I good with that math, right?
I've gone back and we did 115 episodes before the first season. And now we're up to episode 200.
All
And
right.
we've got
So that's not
another,
bad.
4 episodes or so before. So it's basically 100 episodes per season at this point.
100
So
episodes
it'll be
per
about
season.
800 episodes when we're done.
All right,
if
yes,
the show
okay.
gets to go full 8 seasons.
800.
That's
I
assuming.
I did the math wrong. You're right. I did 200 per season. It's 100 per season.
Yeah, that's assuming there's almost 2 years in between every season, which God forbid that happens. We won't get to 8 seasons if it's like that. So
I think we won't get to 8 seasons.
100.
no, the show won't get to 8 seasons.
So we did 200. We're going to do 600 more. So that's like 12 years, right? Because it's like 50.
Yeah, it would be about 12 years.
Every 12 more years. Oh
No,
my
let's-
God.
It's weird. It's weird to think about this, like, like not even like leaving middle age and still doing this show.
Yeah, my kids will be all grown up
Yeah, oh my God.
and like
Like
Yeah.
in
in
college.
college or
Yeah,
not
my
in
kids
college.
will be my kids will be like around graduating high school.
Oh my God.
If that's the thing, but that's all right. But I think
Joe,
let's
play
not
some
think
sad
about
emotional music.
our
I
impending
don't,
death.
I don't know if I have said
Let's think
emotional
about
music.
how awesome it is that we've done this together for 200 episodes. I think that doing this, whatever, we're not getting too sappy. Joe, it's one of the best things we've ever done. I'm so glad that you had the idea to do it, that you encouraged us to do it. Because it's one of the best decisions we ever made. Doing this with you guys every week, highlight of my week. So here's to 200 more time.
Woo, cheers. Clink.
We should have gotten champagne.
Here,
That's what
here,
we should.
Joe.
Jen, you don't need to put it near the microphone. I hear it all the way when it's on the floor. That's how good that
Yeah.
microphone is. All right.
Why don't you guys build a recording studio in your homes?
No, it's not the
Well.
recording studio. I think it's your
Just the mic.
super expensive microphone, I think. Yeah.
I don't know how to do that.
Welcome to another edition of Where's What Origins. Before we get into it, I just had a thought when we were talking about how long it could potentially be before this, that some of our listeners may not be alive when we finish this podcast.
Oh,
What?
Jesus.
It's true. Anyway,
Jesus.
anywho,
I mean, probably, but still, not because.
I mean, chances are.
Yeah, there's a lot of listeners.
we've got about 4 weeks or so before season, or 5 weeks before before season 2 comes out. The time is getting shorter and shorter. The window is closing for the missing 2 episodes of What Origins to be released. We haven't heard anything, right? We're getting a lot of show hype.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they give a crap about What Origins yet. Are we even sure that they're going to be What Origins with the new season? I'm trying to remember. I think they said they were going to be.
They said
They said a
were
lot of
going to be.
things.
Yes. They'll be released in August.
Guys, just so you know, next week is August. Again.
Yes. This is what I'm
We've
saying.
been doing this segment for a full year.
Did we do it? We didn't start doing it, I think, until maybe September.
We were doing it in September when we were together in LBI, but I don't know if I don't remember when the music portion of it came in, but I remember sitting next to each other
Yeah.
and talking about What Origins.
Yeah.
So we definitely were doing it at least in September.
As soon as August was over.
Yeah,
we
right.
started doing it.
We were like, oh, there's a couple days left in August. Okay, it's the last day of August. And then like it never came.
Yeah.
I was really excited. I was on the Amazon Prime app a couple of days ago, and I saw first thing I saw was like, wait, Wheel of Time. It's on the banner. It's like they're starting to promote it. So I'm like, wait, it's on the banner. They have to have done stuff now. So I go in. I'm looking around, and they did like it's at least for me, it's rearranged. Things are in slightly different places. I was like, oh, it's happening. They're gonna sneak it in. And I looked, and they didn't. But yeah, I don't know. I still have hope that we're gonna get season 2. And now I'm wondering whether we just don't ever get those missing 2 episodes.
I can see them, right? Like you said, August is coming. I can see them totally releasing it in August, like a week or so before the show, just to kind of as like, like get ready, everybody. Here's the final 2 episodes. Here's 8 minutes of content for you to watch that you've been waiting for a year, just to kind of get people ready for the show. So I'm gonna say, I'm putting my money down. Just do you want to wager on this? I'm gonna put down money that we get the final 2 episodes by the end of August.
No. I hope money that they're never spoken of again.
How about you, Tom?
How much are we talking about here?
Do we want to do money or we want to do something else? Otherwise, like I'd say a cool 20.
Sure. $20.
Well, you guys,
What are you saying, Tom?
yeah, it depends on what
What
Tom
side do you
says,
want?
because then we'll have to figure out.
I feel. I mean, if you're just going to bet cash versus cash, I'm with Joe. I think there's a decent possibility that that's like the last. That we're going to get that in the last week of August, right before the show starts. So, Jen, you want to go? You want to go up against both of us?
So
We
Jen
each
puts
give
up
you
20.
or
We
you have to
each-
pay out 40.
No.
So I
Jen
put
will.
up 40 then, right?
No. You can
Is
put
that
up
how that
20.
works?
Tom and I will put up 10.
Okay,
Fair enough.
fine.
If that works out, whatever.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into some news. We've actually got a lot of news to talk about before we get into the main topic tonight. So I'm going to try to go through it quickly, but I know that's not going to happen, but I'll try anyway. All right. This is from a while ago. There's been so much stuff coming out that we kind of had to, pick and choose what we talked about each week. So this is from a few weeks ago. IGN had put out an article back on July 10th, reporting that The Wheel of Time is getting an animated prequel film called The White Tower. All right, quote, "It is an action adventure about a young girl with a special gift whose life is forever changed when evil visits her remote mountain village. Finding herself alone in a dangerous world, she must go to the White Tower to learn how to use her magical powers in order to save her family and friends. Rebellious and distrusting, she learns that friendship can be as powerful a weapon against evil as any form of magic." It's a mouthful. So this is going to be created from iWatt Productions, formerly Red Eagle, and Squeeze Studios, and they've gotten the writer of Thor, X-Men First Class, and Jurassic World: Camp Cretaceous, which I didn't even know was a movie. Zach Stens.
It's a cartoon.
Oh, it's a cartoon. Okay. Zach Stens, who was earlier attached to a Wheel of Time Age of Legends prequel. Not sure how these two are connected in the sense of, I know iWatt was producing both. And I think there was an idea to make 3 movies. So I don't know if they're still doing, if this is the Age of Legends prequel or that's not happening. I'm not really sure.
This is a movie or a TV show?
It's a movie. It's an animated movie, which I think is a cool idea.
I do think it's a cool idea, and I don't mean to be like kind of cynical about this, but the last iWatt movie thing came out like right before season 1 was going to come out, and now this is being announced, in the run up to season 2, and I do feel like this is kind of like them fishing for people to be excited about this and possibly invest in these projects or something, rather than something that is like solidly going forward. I do think I do find it interesting to say, like, hey, let's tell a story that happened like 1,000 years before the main books or whatever the case may be. And I do think that, pardon me, doing an animated film set in this world like opens up a lot of opportunities. I don't know how. I think I'm more confident that What Origins is going to be on Amazon Prime in August than I am that this is going to be actually made.
Doesn't it excite you though, the idea of like a more Wheel of Time content and an animated version, which kind of gives them a lot more freedom, I think.
Yeah, I feel like it excited me when they announced it the first time. And now I'm like, all right, we'll see if this one happens. Like,
so one thing that I thought was kind of interesting, and I think they mentioned this a couple of times in the article. So Rick Salvage, who's the CEO of iWatt Productions, said, "The White Tower is an action-packed adventure with a transcendent message of female empowerment that will inspire a new generation of imaginative young women." My thought was, then why did you get a guy to write it? But not that, it was just weird. Like, it was mentioned a couple of times about female empowerment. Now, how come you didn't get a female to write it? Not that I have anything against Zach Stens. He's a really good writer.
Yeah, he seems like he's a fan of the books, and he seems like a cool dude.
You know what?
But that's a good question, Joe.
Men are awful in general, so that's a really good question. Men should not do anything ever.
No, they can write stuff.
Just my 2 cents. No. I don't know. I don't think that matters. I don't know.
It was just weird. It's just weird that I don't think that he can't write it.
Men.
I don't think that he can't write it. I just think that it's weird that they're talking about this and then, tag them. Maybe they'll have a female director. Who knows?
Well, that's like in everything now. I feel like everything wants to be about female empowerment.
Yeah. Stupid.
Which is
female
good,
empowerment.
but it's just like, what?
No, I'm just joking around.
See, men are awful. No.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I want to move on to our next piece of news. So Nerdist released an article this week about season 2 costumes from designer Sharon Gillam, who replaced Isis Mundison from season 1. She's responsible for the costuming on season 2. And we got a sneak peek at some of the costumes, specifically a few characters. The first one was Swan. Quote, she wears the robes because she has to, but feels uncomfortable with the grandeur and the pomp and circumstance.
Just the pump. If they would have stuffed
She
it.
likes the circumstance. It's just the
No.
pump that's no good.
And it's,
She
it's
likes the bump, ba-da-ba. That's it. She doesn't like the other part of it.
and it's accompanied by a photo.
I have no idea what that actually means.
Or
by
I
the
should
way.
say, let's not. There's a photo and I guess like an artwork, like
drawing.
a drawing.
artistic rendering.
Thank you, an artistic rendering of the
Yeah.
costume. So I thought this was interesting, just because the picture that they put up appears to be. This is Kyrienne. From everything we've
Yes.
seen and know about it, this is her and Kyrienne. So I think this is our
Yes.
confirmation, 100%, that Swan will be going to Kyrienne. But the costuming, I mean, this is pretty wild. I like the headpiece. It kind of reminds me of a Mrs. Peacock and Clue.
Oh, yeah. Communism was only a red herring, man.
What do you guys think about this costume?
I like it a lot. All the different layers, and I thought it was weird she was wearing gloves. Like, wouldn't she want to show off her ring? But I guess when you're like the Amerlin seat, you don't have to show off your ring anymore.
Do you see her ring? Is she wearing her ring?
She's wearing gloves.
But she could
As
wear
we
the ring
discussed
over
in
the
an earlier
gloves.
episode,
Oh, over the. I don't know.
gloves can go over these rings and hide them completely on television.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why I would put it over a glove. That'd be weird. I guess that you could, but yeah, I love all the different layers. The detailing on it. It's really beautiful.
Sorry, I was just texting my wife to tell my kid to stop jumping, because I was like,
I don't hear it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's on the recording.
So you think those servants came with her from the White Tower?
Oh, definitely. I mean, they're dressed in similar. Well, that guy in the
This guy
background
looks like he has a fish on in the front of his breastplate.
I
It's
was
probably not
I was
fish,
looking
but
for some
what is
fish,
it?
some fish on the on her costuming, but I mean, like I guess the shoulder covering. I don't know what you call it. The stole. First of
Yeah.
all, she doesn't have the stole, the Amerlin stole on it, which this is like, these are things
She's
that
out walking around. She's not in her chair.
Her back has the 7 colors on it. Her cape is
Oh, on the
stole.
back. Yeah, they said that you can't see it. But that's what she
Oh.
said.
Yeah, they've
right?
basically they've done away with, here is a thin scarf
Yeah.
that you can wear at all times,
yeah, I
and
guess
made it part of her fashion.
Yeah, all right. I guess whatever.
Speaking of fishing, maybe she could take pieces off the crown, like the headpiece, and make them like lures.
Yeah, she could go fly fishing. But I was going to say, this like cloak or cape or whatever it is, stole that she has on, it looks like some of the design work is similar to like her tattoos, like similar style. So that's kind of unique to her, I guess. Or people of Tyr. Anyway, moving on, we have a startling image of Rosamund as Moiraine. I think whoever did this rendering made her head too big. It looks very
AI
odd.
did the rendering. Yeah.
Yeah. Gillum notes, quote, I gave all the cultures in the Wheel of Time a color palette as well as a set of silhouettes, which made them instantly distinctive and different from each other. In this case, I combined Japanese kimono shapes with exaggerated skirts with full petticoats in the style of traditional French costume, which I think is pretty spot on, right? I think Jordan describes Kyrienne as like a mixture of French and Japanese culture.
Mhm.
So they show you like an original rendering of her costume, which is a little bit more busy. It's got
It's like,
white.
it almost looks like butterflies a little bit.
Yeah, it's got this white and blue design on it, and then they show you the final shot, which I think was one of the released
Mhm.
promo images that Entertainment Weekly had of her in her just like plain blue coat or dress. Yeah, pretty
She's
cool.
wearing like more of like a headpiece in the rendering too, and then she just has her like Kisera on.
Yeah, she doesn't have her Kisera on in that one. I like though how they kept that style, right? They always talked about the Kyrienne dresses went all the way up to the neck.
Yeah.
That was like a very distinct feature that I remember they always mentioned. So they actually kept that. and did really well with that. So they kind of give you it's just kind of because she's kind of got like an undershirt on that goes all the way up to the neck, and it's still got that
Like a
V-neck.
dickie.
Yeah, she's got a dickie on.
Oh, you can see the shirt sleeves underneath. It'd
Imagine it was a dickie. That'd be really cool. She just like pulls it off.
be so cool.
That's so cool.
So cool.
It would make it so worth it. Next we have Soroth. Gillum explains the Shan-Chen are a mix of Mesoamerica and Imperial Chinese. This is reflected in the color palette of the former and the shapes and layering of the latter. So I have to say, I love this costume.
Yes.
Like Soroth's costume is so fucking
It
cool.
is.
And if somebody has a problem with it, I can't understand why. Because it's one of the coolest things I've seen so far in the show. And just the Shan-Chen in general. Gillum also referred to the insect-like armor of the soldiers and how that's also reflected in Soroth's clothing. Did you notice the fingernails are different in the picture?
On the real picture?
No, well,
Oh yeah, she has
the
the
rendering.
pinky and the I did.
If you look close, I think she has also long nails on her ring finger as well. If you see, it's kind of folded back, but you can see the start of the nail. So I'm
Oh
wondering.
yeah, maybe they were all long. I also just want to point out too that if you look at the picture of Soroth's nails, like that's fake because you could see the white going all the way up where her real nail should be.
Yeah.
See what I'm talking about? So those are just like I think they just slide those over their fingers.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, that's what I think. Obviously, they're fake in real life, but I think they might be fake on the show too.
I guess we'll find out. And then the final costume they talk about is the Damane, and they show you some drawings or images of the various iterations of the Adam, the bracelet and the collar. It looks like they always went with that whole neck over the shoulders under the arm piece. Like that seemed like it was something that was always going to be. And
Yeah.
the same thing with the bracelet. It's more of bracers than a bracelet. And
Mhm.
I didn't notice this in any of the other pictures, and I don't think I see it in the image. But they had like look like a chain that would be attached to a ring on the bracelet.
Yeah, she's wearing the ring in the picture, but I don't see that it's attached.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's attached. So maybe
Unless
they
it's
got rid of
attached
that
like
part of it.
by her palm or something, like underneath. Now they switched it.
Oh, instead of having it over, they put it under. That's possible.
Someone online said that like the Damani dresses weren't drab enough. First of all, like in the rendering, they're
here
literally
you go.
torn up and disgusting.
Someone
What?
in our Discord.
Oh,
S
sherbet
stopped
mango,
up.
really?
Oh, that's
Are you
sherbet mango.
I
Okay.
think they're like really drab. They're all torn up and like dirty. How much more drab? I don't know. I don't understand.
I think maybe
They're
she
too
wants them to be like
form-fitting, maybe.
like
They
little
should just be like a
They're
like
too
a moo-moo.
sexy. Like
sexy
what-
drab.
they're too tight. I don't know.
Maybe like they are wrinkled. They don't iron their clothes.
Right.
I
they're
thi- I
like,
think
and if
she-
you look at the
I think she
Yeah,
means
but-
maybe more like like maybe some rips and tears or like things like that in them maybe
well,
like
there's tears in the picture, so we really didn't. I mean, we haven't really seen them that much. Maybe there are tears.
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, they probably would fix them. They'd make them fix them or something like that. Somebody also
we would-
posted, I don't even remember where, but they're like, oh, it just took me, it's something about like, oh, I just realized now, it took me until now to realize that there were lightning bolts on the Damane's dresses. And I was like,
Where?
there aren't. And it's the Soldam that are supposed to have the lightning bolts, not the Damane.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I didn't
That's
respond.
what
I think
looking
it was
at.
on
I didn't hear
Twitter,
you.
but I was like looking at the picture and I'm like, what are they talking about? I thought maybe I was missing something, but
Wait, I'm gonna make the picture really big and stare at it. I can't zoom in. I don't see any lightning bolts though.
yeah, I don't see
Why?
anything. But they also, I just did want to quote Sharon Gillum. She said, I added the gold mouth stopper or dummy/pacifier to symbolize their further silencing as individuals. So that's a little addition onto what we talked about last week.
She's calling
The
it a
reference to
pacifier, too.
slavery. She did call it
Yeah, a pacifier.
dummy/pacifier.
Well, I mean, that's what it looks like. And I know that I know this. These images got released and people they already had a really severe emotional impact on some people. Right? I think that for people who were worried that the show is going to back away from like the touchy subject of Shanjin and slavery, they're not. And I think that judging by how it looks and how it looks like this is going to be treated in this season, I really wonder how they're going to pivot towards like making some of these characters sympathetic in later seasons.
I mean, in this shot too, it looks like this is clearly like them rounding up the women to test them to be demonic,
Yeah.
right? This looks like what's going on here.
Yeah. Their nightgowns are really dirty.
Yeah, well, they were on the floor and probably rolling around a bit.
Probably.
Somebody's got a
Yeah.
tattered nightgown, but
Yeah.
I'm sure this was after the Shanjin came and decimated the village.
That one girl in the back looks like she's tough in
Yeah.
between them.
We'll see. See how tough she is. I want to see, because I haven't seen yet in these images, I want to see that collar go on somebody. I want to see how that thing, because it goes under
Yeah.
the arms. So that's like, so that means that means it's probably got a seam down like the back or so. And then the back folds open and then they have to slide their arms out.
Yeah, pick your arms up. Like,
Yeah. It's weird. Unless there's hitches like underneath the arms as well. I don't know. I'm very curious as to how this thing opens, and I want to see it get put on somebody.
Well, I'm
or
sure
pick it
we'll
up.
find out.
Yeah, I'm sure we will too. All right, moving on. We have some casting news that I want to talk about. This one is not totally surprising, but Jessica Boone is confirmed to be on the show as Alwyn. Now, this was confirmed by her casting agency. They had posted it on Twitter, but the tweet has since been removed. But Watts Series, our friends at Watts Series had already written an article about it. We all know that Jessica Boone was going to be on the show when they released the photo of her and Surath and Ishii walking with Loyal in the background. We pretty much 100% confirmed that. But she's playing a character named Alwyn. Now, Alwyn is a character from the books, but it doesn't seem like she's going to be playing the same character. Alwyn was a Soldam. She was part of the Return. And she was in Falm, and she's the one who discovered that Rena and Seta were collared. She's the one that found them when Egwene, I think it's Egwene who collars them, right? I don't remember if it's Egwene. She's the one who
I think so.
finds them. She tells Surath, and then Liandrin poisons her. So while it doesn't look like Jessica Boone is a Soldam, looks like she's probably a voice or whatever, she could still fit the rest of the role, I guess, right? She could still, if they're playing that role, if they're still going to put that storyline in where the Soldam can be collared and that's a thing, they could keep Jessica Boone on potentially as the person who finds them, and then later, I don't know, tell Surath. I don't know, maybe she tells Surath in this season. Who knows?
Or her and her husband could both die this season and not be on the show anymore.
Well, the beautiful thing is that they're in Prague, so like they
know.
can just come back
I know.
whenever. It's not like a huge thing
No.
for them, I don't think.
I'm scared. Scared
Okay.
for their family.
For the
Not
Real
not
life.
For the Uno Alwyn family. I'm
the
scared.
Nemestris. And then one more casting. I think this is probably the bigger one. Watts Series reports that Callum Kerr will be playing Gawain Trakand.
No.
I'm sorry, Galad. Sorry,
Wrong.
Galad. Sorry. Let me start that again. Watts Series reports that Callum Kerr will be playing Galad Trakand.
Mhm.
Mm?
Now, okay, right. This was something I think that they found on his CV. Do you think it's a misprint by the
Maybe they're
agency?
changing it? Or maybe he also just takes her name when she becomes queen because that's what they do.
I would say that that part would only make sense if they plan on making some sort of like big reveal that he's a
Yeah,
Damodred
why not?
and Rand's half brother.
It's weird that they don't mention it really in the book, like
They do
to
mention
any
it.
extent. I mean, not
They
to like
constantly
a
mention it. They constantly say like he's not my brother. Like Elaine says that all the
Well,
time.
no,
Elaine is
Galad and Rand.
Oh.
Like,
Well, it doesn't come
That'd be a
known to
cool
them
thing.
like late, like really late.
I don't think
Oh,
Galad
yeah.
finds out until if he does, it's really late.
Rand
knows.
finds out before Galad.
Yeah.
Galad doesn't find out till like one of the last 2 or 3 books.
Yeah. Yeah, because like it's not like common knowledge whose Rand's birth family is.
Right. No, I know.
Yeah. But Rand finds out much sooner. So I don't know. I'm hoping it's a misprint. But anyway, Callum Kerr, he's a 29-year-old Scottish-born actor. We have evidence that he likely won't appear until season 3. He did an interview recently and talked about how he was going to be going like right after. It was like a recent interview, and he was leaving for Prague like shortly after that. So he made it sound like
Nashville right now. So
Okay.
he's not. I mean, that's probably because the show's not filming anymore, right?
Oh yeah, well, it
I don't know.
potentially could. It potentially could be. So yeah, so it doesn't sound like, you know, in that interview, it didn't sound like, actually this interview was 2 months ago. So I don't know, he could have gone and returned for all we know. But anyway, from the way he was talking, he didn't do any previous filming, and that interview was 2 months ago. So that means he wouldn't be in season 2. Funny thing, right? So you're probably wondering who he is, or what he's from, I should say. So he is known for Monarch, Hollyoaks. I remember that show. That's from the 90s. He must have been really young in that. And then Flowers in the Attic, The Origin. So if you remember, Luke Featherston was also in that.
Hmm.
Do you think there's any connection? Does this mean Luke Featherston is going to be Gowan?
I don't think so. It could be Gowan, but not because they were both in that movie together.
Are we, if I'm remembering him correctly, and I'm going to look him up, are we paying him for Luke?
Yes, we did, right? Because he looks a little bit like Yosha.
Because he also looks like he can be related.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get too much into like the guy, but he certainly looks the part.
Yeah, he's a handsome
Right.
dude, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Jen, does he meet your?
He's not. Someone just posted in chat, and I agree. Like, I pictured Galad being like, I don't know, like Orlando Bloom level of like good looking, like the softest features, you know?
Yeah.
Not feminine necessarily, but not like overly masculine handsomeness.
Yeah.
But very soft featured handsomeness. And this guy is like the opposite. He's got like this huge chiseled like cartoon jaw. But
yeah, I wonder if he'll shave for the role, just because Galad seems, I don't know if they ever mentioned this, but he seems like a very clean cut type of a guy.
yeah, he seems like somebody who gives a shave, an extra shave at like 4:30 just to make sure there's no 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah, he's definitely good looking, but like pictures it's hard to tell even from pictures, because
I saw a brief video of him on the show Monarch, which is like a country music show.
Yeah, he's also like a country musician, or like an aspiring country musician,
and like
American country musician too.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
Yeah. Like I said, he to me, like, you know, it's similar to casting a Lanfear, or you know, when they cast Berlin, or like to pick somebody who's supposed to be the most attractive person that you've ever seen. Like, you're not going to satisfy everybody.
Yeah, clearly not Tom.
like I was gonna say, when the first picture of Yosha came up with him like holding the book up in front of his face or whatever, I was like, all right, he's okay. But on the show, he looks like 10 times better than like that picture.
It's the coat. It's the
I like him now, but certain pictures, like I look at certain pictures of this guy, and I'm like, all right, I see it. And other ones, I'm like, eh. But yeah, again, like you said, it's getting a lot. You can't. There's literally no one except Jude Law in 2000. talented Mr. Ripley era Jude Law that could have done it. So
yeah. Well, we won't get him.
I don't want him now. He could play somebody else. He could be like Gareth Bryn or something.
So this all makes sense,
I'll
right?
come back to it.
Right. We're pretty confident that we're getting Camelin scenes, right? We had that reports of of that location with the lines of Andor dressed on it. We think Shore was there, who could potentially be Elida. And this seems like it makes sense, and everything fits in where we're going to get the rest of the Trakans or Trakan Damodreds in season 3. We're going to learn about them there. So that makes sense. I will move on then to our main topic, since I think we've gotten enough news down and we're already 40 minutes or so into the episode. It was a lot of news to cover. And we could have probably done a whole episode just on this news, but we didn't want to hold back anymore. It's time to get into our season 2 episode breakdowns, where we try to make sense and predict what's going to happen in each episode of the season, and then afterwards mock and ridicule each other for how bad it was. We're going to do it a little different this time. When we did season 1, we all kind of went at the same time, and I think it was very confusing to follow, not just for the listeners, but even for myself. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 parts of this, and we're each going to do an episode of our breakdowns. So tonight, Tom is going to be sharing his episodes 1 through 8 breakdown, and we will comment and try not to give away anything about our breakdowns. And we'll applaud you, Tom, for some of your great thoughts.
I appreciate that in advance. Yeah, I will say before we officially begin, this is impossible. Joe and Jen will, I'm sure, express something similar, but like we literally have no idea what's happening for some of these storylines. And there's certain characters in here who I have made up 8 episode arcs out of whole cloth. Like, oh, here's like one image. I'll make a whole storyline about it. And then I will
Pictures worth 1,000 words.
That's right. I've been complaining to them over the course of the last week as I've been working on it. Like, oh, I forgot that we've literally seen an image of this thing that happens at this point, and I didn't put that in the show. Oh, wait, we know this character's on the show. He's not in my breakdown. Let me rework this. So we'll take all of it with a grain of salt. But that being said, these are certainly 8 episodes.
I will say just the one thing, Tom. Can you give us? We have those 8 episode titles, or at least we think those are the 8 episode titles. I want you to give us our episode titles, right, for each episode as you're doing them, and also your cold open.
Oh, I have that for each one. Yeah.
Okay. So,
all right.
Without further ado, take it away.
Go. Episode 1: A Taste of Solitude. The cold open is the Dark Friend Social. I don't think. I know that we had a lot of theorizing about who is that a child? Is that a little person? Whatever it is. I think the important thing about this is the same elements of the Dark Friend Social, that Ishii is still alive. He lets people know that these are the people that you need to be looking for. And it kind of gives a sense of the whole season that there are hidden dark friends everywhere, that you can't trust anybody. All right. So now show starts. Time has passed. Let's say 2 months. All right. And what I'm doing here is these are not going to be like in order, scene, but like, here's what's going to happen to this person in this episode. So I'm going to give you like their whole little episode arc. Rand is traveling with Celine, heading towards Carrion, as he desires to be away from people, but she's goading him to get back to civilization, that there's more for him than this. You see a lot of toxic emotional manipulation here between them, and it's revealed that she knows that Rand can channel. Okay, so that's your setup. They're already together. And you can see she's trying to like play on him and trying to kind of emotionally manipulate him. Perrin and Loyal travel with the Shanarans. We meet Lord Ingtar here. He's desperate to recover the Horn of Valir. The trail for the Horn has gone dead, so they need to recruit a tracker, Elias, however we're going to pronounce it. He's a wolf brother. Elaine Trakan, daughter of Andor, arrives at the White Tower. She's introduced to Sharia, mistress of novices, and is given over to her fellow novice, Egwene Alvear, for orientation. With that, you get a look at some of the day-to-day in the tower. Meanwhile, Nynaeve is in the tower. She's continuing to struggle with lessons. She can't channel regularly. She spends about as much time as she can with the waters. She's very angsty about Rand's supposed death, about Lan's absence, and Mat's disappearance. Leandrin's her normal, shady, annoying self. She interacts with everybody throughout the course of the episode. But towards the end, she sneaks off towards a locked room where you find Mat Cawthon, prisoner of the tower. He and Leandrin have their flirty, tense conversation. Then you see that Matt is trying to escape. Finally, Moiraine, she meets with some eyes and ears of hers while she's doing research with an old colleague, who's, I'm saying, is going to be Verin. She puts together what's been happening these last few months. She determines that they now need to find Rand and that the Forsaken are loose upon the world. Here's your end stinger for episode 1. You see that the Seanchan have established rule in Thom. High Lord Turok is in charge, with High Lady Soroth underneath him. It is revealed that he has a new advisor, Ishamael. Okay, so that's episode 1. You want me to just
Ooh.
run through these? You want
No,
me to
no,
stop
no,
after?
no,
We're
no,
gonna
no.
talk
Let's
about
breathe. Let's let that breathe for a minute. So
that's
you
my
have
first
Let it sit.
episode.
Let it sit.
so you have Ishamael advising Turok.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
Turok's ahead of Soroth.
Yeah, right now
Yes.
he's the one in charge of
Yeah.
the return.
Right.
Later on, Soroth becomes in charge
Well,
after when they make their second return. But yeah, he's in charge right now.
Yes.
So it's interesting because we have the picture of Ishamael with Soroth, and he's like out and about with her on her jungle
Well,
palanquin.
I mean, spoiler alert. They're both.
Yeah,
I mean, they're not. Ishamael's not a dark friend, but you know what I mean.
yeah, they're
like,
both working for the
So,
for the
like-
wrong side.
they'd be like, oh, I'm just gonna go with her and do
Right.
this kind of stuff, you know. And he's not. So
I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I think that that's going to happen. I don't think Ishamael is going to be involved with Turok. I think he's going to be clean.
Okay.
I would love
Isn't
it
there-
if he like wasn't really there. If he was like invisible.
Oh, don't
We could
no,
s-
that would be so stupid.
So whatever. I have him very present there throughout the course of this
I like
this
that.
season.
I like it. I have a couple of things. I'm similar in mine, but I have a couple of differences.
I like so you don't have Varen's intro. You don't think that clip of Varen that we got is her first introduction scene?
No.
So then, okay, I guess maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but if Moiraine goes to see Varen, why does Varen goes back to the White Tower? Is there something that happens there that triggers Varen to go back to the White Tower?
Perhaps there is. Maybe I should-
LAFO.
Maybe I should read on.
I'm just asking, like, is that
Yes.
that something that's coming up?
there's something that happens as things progress that causes her to.
I think your first episode is almost perfect.
All right.
Except for the
I'll take
that.
except for the
There was so
Ishamael
much-
thing.
There was so much silence there. I thought my computer froze again.
Uh, I was soaking in the almost.
I was like, you don't
perfect
need
part.
to compliment Tom anymore. He's good.
It's
Okay.
already
Go ahead.
our 200th episode, and I'm the main feature. That's good enough. We don't gotta. All right, I'm gonna
All
move
right.
on to episode 2,
Go for
Daughter
it.
of the Night. Okay. The cold open is a mysterious woman is raised out of the forsaken sleep. Her face is never seen, but come on, we know who it is. All right.
Come on.
So
Gamma.
Moiraine continues to research instead of what she had been doing, which is more how to remove her shield or reverse being severed. She's now focusing more on Forsaken and how to find and track Ta'Veren. Varen seems absent-minded, but may realize more than she lets on. She monologues on the Forsaken to Moiraine, sketching the two worst and most powerful of them, Ishamael and Lanfear. Rand and Selene still travel, and Rand has finally relented to Selene's wishes. They head towards Caria. Later, as they travel, they come across a crystal globe half buried in the ground. It calls to Rand, and with Selene's goading, he starts to channel, pulsing in time to the globe. She eventually gets really nervous and begs him to stop. He dreams that night, where he's tempted by a woman whose face is in shadow, to be given dominion over all. He refuses. When he awakens in the morning, Selene is gone. Egwene, Nynaeve, and Elaine live the life of novices. Nynaeve and Elaine do not get along, but Elaine and Egwene bond over their shared experiences of cleaning pots and having unlimited potential. Egwene also takes interest in Elaine's brother, Gawain, who has traveled to the tower with her to train. Moiraine and Lan bid farewell And Taverin and her old warder Tomas, they wished him good journey. Not long after they start to travel, Moraine sees a Shamael and her horse rears. Now, he isn't really there, but two Murdral are. Lan fights them both and is doing well, killing one, but the other one gets the drop on him. Until Tomas comes from behind. He works with Verin, supercharges his sword, kills the other Fade. Verin says it may be time for her to return to the world as well. Gawain is excelling at warder training, but nobody much likes him amongst the warders or the other trainers. So he travels into Tar Valon proper, thinking of leaving and going back to Andor, where he meets Min, who eventually advises him to go back to the tower, as his fate is tied to the Amyrlin, for good and for bad. Perrin and Elias bond, and Perrin learns what it means to be a wolf brother, and that is what is happening to him, and it's not a singular thing. He learns about the wolf dream, where Elias is known as Hopper. The party comes across a Murdral nailed to the door and a dark prophecy written in blood, mentioning the daughter of the night and Falm. Liandrin walks the streets of Tar Valon in some sort of really not good disguise. She's nervous that she's not followed. Where is she going? Why? Else Treehill comes to Matt's door. She's a novice.
Yes.
She was sent by Liandrin, she says, and brings him his food. She teasingly alludes to knowing where his would-be tunnel is, and lets him know that Egwene and Nynaeve are here. But then when she leaves, she doesn't lock the door. He realizes and sneaks to open it. When he looks down the hallway, instead of seeing Else at the end of the hall, he sees Selene, and he's quite confused.
Wait, I'm confused. Go back to that whole part again.
Sure.
Say that again.
So, you see Liandrin sneaking out of the tower at night. She's trying not to be followed. She's heading somewhere you don't know why. Then it cuts back to a similar scene, like of Matt being visited by Liandrin, but this time it's Else Treehill who opens the door. Says that Liandrin sent her to bring her his food. She kind of teases him that she knows that that he's digging a tunnel out, gets him all freaked out. She lets him know that Nynaeve and Egwene are actually in this tower right now, being trained, and she doesn't lock the door when she leaves because she doesn't really care. So he realizes that, and he sneaks to open it and looks down the hallway, expecting to see like Else like walking down the end of the hallway, but instead he sees Selene.
Okay.
And he's very confused. So that is what happens in episode 2.
So my question is, so we're gonna get Gawain in season 2, but we won't get Galad to season 3. How come Galad isn't training as a warder?
Because he's not the first Prince of the Sword.
Yeah, Gawain, I have the same thing. Gawain has to go where Elaine goes.
Exactly.
Galad doesn't.
And Gawain's such like a petulant person that he's like, well, people don't like me, I'm gonna leave. And then I realized that, spoiler alert, Min's in this season and I didn't put her in the first time. So I'm like, oh well, I have to have her somewhere. I think she should be in Tar Valon. And I think that this is a good kind of thing, that he gets a sense of like his fate is tied to the Amyrlin, which gives him a little bit more like, which Amyrlin is that kind of angst for him to kind of go through over the course of the series.
Yeah, Rao was pointing out in chat that this is 2 episodes and Padden Fane has not made an appearance yet.
He's in the Dark Friend social scene. And I spoiler alert, Padden Fane is not going to be in a lot of this season at all in my breakdown. It's not.
Okay.
But he is in the next episode. So
I'm trying to think of what else happened.
Whatever. As we go through, I'll say this now. Like, I've mentioned this to some people, I think, in our Discord chat, but like, I think Ishii is taking on a lot of Padden Fane's role in the Great Hunt here, because he's not going to be in that actor playing Ishii is probably not going to be in the series anymore, and they want to really emphasize him and all of his evil, manipulative ways, so that there's a bigger impact when he exits stage right.
Okay. Going back, I like your Dark Prophecy. I was thinking the same thing, actually. That's kind of funny, about the Dark Prophecy, that Moraine could find it when she's doing her research, as opposed to it being scrawled, on the walls that we didn't get. And that could be her impetus to go to Falm, but then she decides to go to Cairhien instead. Is that, and I don't know if, again, this could be coming up in your breakdowns, but is her decision to go to Cairhien because she learned, her eyes and ears tell her that Rand is there?
Yes, she's going to Cairhien to find Rand.
Okay.
she doesn't want to go back.
All right, I like all the parent stuff too. I agree with everything there on the parent side.
All right.
Yeah, I'm cool.
I'm glad you're all doubled down with me on how wrong I'm going to be. Jen, I don't know. Do you have anything else? Moving on to episode 3.
No, I thought we were gonna get like a clear cut. This is Lanfear in the Daughter of the Night episode,
Oh,
but maybe not.
oh yeah, I do.
No.
Thank you, Jen, for saying that. I do have a question. So we're going to meet Selene in episode 1, but we're not going to see Lanfear, escaping the prison or whatever you want to call it, being freed from the prison until episode 2. So it's going to be a flashback, the cold open.
Yes.
Now-
That's what I think, too.
And again, spoiler alert, like while there is a implicit like why the hell would Selene be in the tower, it wasn't that just Elstree Hill a second ago at the end of this episode, much like the Great Hug, like she does not say that she is Lanfear until the end of the season.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but so
It's going to allow you, the audience, to figure it out.
are they going to indicate that the cold open's a flashback of some sort? Because I feel like even when they make the reveal, it's kind of loopy.
Yeah, I think you could do some sort of like whatever 3 months earlier.
Yeah, like if the
6
beginning of the
weeks
show
earlier.
starts like
6 weeks earlier.
two months later,
But
then that should be
lot
2
of
months
the-
earlier. Or
Yeah.
A lot of the cold opens are
They just
flashbacks,
are.
and they
You
don't.
just have to figure it
you don't-
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the blood.
Yeah,
Snow
but
is a
they're-
flashback, and they're not like 20 years earlier. You just figure it out.
they're obvious. Like the Nynaeve one was obvious, like a flashback. Right, episode 3. That's episode 3, right?
Yeah.
That's clearly a flashback, and there's no. It pays off. It pays off before at the end of episode 2, right? She shows up at the end of. She
And
returns
the
at the end of
flashback
episode
is
2.
after she shows
And,
up.
yeah,
something
so
else.
that
Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
perfect sense. The other cold open, the Blood Snow one, 20 years earlier. That's you learn what that is when Tam takes off his helmet. But the Selene one, what are they going to do to tie it in so that you know that those two things are connected? If they just say
They could-
she's Lanfear, it's
They
like
could cut back to it again, like they did with the Blood Snow, and have like her stand up, and then like when you find out, you see him like talking to her or something.
Yeah, he
Because
can.
his-
Sorry,
I'm
go ahead.
pretty sure that body double was like the Selene body double or something, wasn't it?
it was
Right.
the blood. She was the bloody woman coming
The
up.
bloody, yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
think
body
like
this-
that's
it
maybe
could-
you'll see her face and more of her like later on, and like in the scene.
I also think like just time setting stuff can be done by Ishii dialogue here, of like,
I'm going to
Luz
fall.
Theron just
Yeah.
freed me, and now
Right.
I will free you, my fellow chosen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a social tonight.
We got a party.
All right, Episode
Take a
3,
shower,
what-
get dressed.
put some clothes on, woman. Episode 3, what might be. The cold open is White Cloaks go to Toman Head. Dane Bornhold is given his first commission. He's proud, and Valdez tries to instill some good old hate in him. All right. So here are the things that are going to happen in this episode. Rand actually gets to Carrion. He finds his little, shack hut hotel in the Foregate. In there, he has a dream first of Selene, and that switches to Min and is like strangely romantic. He doesn't understand why, but then that pivots to like actually Ishii's there and taunting him. This whole thing should be very scary and disorienting. Matt gets called out of his room in the tower and gets taken to another room in the tower where Fane is there. And Fane offers him back the dagger, but with a catch. Fane offers him to get his dagger back, also offers him riches, power, women, everything he wants. All he has to do is choose to take it and find him. Fane laughs,
This
takes
is
the
where you're
dagger and
losing me,
leaves.
man.
All right. Perrin explores the wolf stream with Elias, who other wolves he finds out, called Perrin Young Bull.
I'm sorry. I have to
Um,
stop you now because I'm going to forget. I have to because otherwise I'm going to lose track. I want to go back to this Matt thing. So Fane goes to the tower and taunts Matt with the dagger.
Not only taunts Matt with a dagger, but offers Matt a choice to like, hey, you could leave the tower and do whatever it is you want to do, but this is something that you might want to do. You might want this dagger back. You could come find me and get everything that comes along with it. So basically is offering him a chance to like become like a powerful dark friend. Right? Which is not anything that Matt says that he wants, but also money and women are things that Matt wants quite a bit.
All right.
So this basically is setting up Matt's internal struggle the whole season about like what he wants to do. Is he going to continue to be selfish? Is he going to go back home the way he says he wants? Is he going to do something else? What is he going to do? And it doesn't give him an immediate out. Like he's still in this tower. He's still a prisoner of the tower. And Fane's not getting him out of the tower. Fane says, if you want this, you have to come find it.
Okay. Dana's asking a great question in chat.
Yeah.
It's wait, if Fane is being chased across country by Perrin, then how does he get back to the tower?
He's not.
He's not what?
He's not being chased across country by.
So who
by,
nailed the merge off to the door?
Yeah, who is?
You'll find out.
So are you saying that
Oh.
you're saying that Elias is a terrible sniffer?
No, I'm saying
They're
they're
following
not
somebody
following
else.
Fane. They're following the horn.
So you think someone else has the horn?
Yes.
I'm assuming we'll have to wait to find out. Waffo?
Yes. Not that long, but yes.
All right. This is where I'm starting to lose you on this episode, Tom. Continue.
So
that.
Listen, if they're all
wanna
the same, then
I
these
actually,
episodes are going to be
this is not a
boring.
spoiler. I actually already said it. Like Ishii is taking this on, right? He's taking on the whole Fane storyline in this book, in this season to me. So Ishii has the horn.
So you're taking away the coolest things that Fane does and giving them to
Yeah,
somebody and
Fane is
leaving all the
not going to
boring
be doing
stuff.
anything of particular import in this season. Sorry, guys.
Boy.
He's not. Like I legitimately don't think that he is. I think that now I mentioned at the beginning of this, right? I did have to fabricate an entire storyline that I had no idea what happened based off of one image. This is the only way that I see that Matt's sitting in a room at a nice table with a dagger in front of him. I'm
Oh,
like,
I had
how
a
did
good
that
one.
happen?
Didn't we
And then I
confirm
reverse
that's the
engineered
White
everything
Tower?
else.
That's the White Tower. I think
Yes.
we could tell that by the images. I think that it's whatever. We'll get.
Well, you
when
can
I do
tell
mine.
it when it's your
I'll
turn.
tell you when
Oh,
it's
I
my
want to
turn.
do mine.
All right. So we'll get there. We'll get there. All right. So anyway, so Perrin, right, Perrin's in the wolf dream. He's getting mentored there by Elias. The other wolves name him Young Bull. Perrin also makes mention of the ways, as in like, I wish we can use that to get to Falm because we're so freaking far away. And Loyal reveals there's a way to use them without channeling. All right. Gawain tries, based on his feedback with Min, to reintegrate himself with society at the tower. He tries to bond with the warders. He develops a relationship with Egwene. It's very flirty kind of a thing, but it seems to be blossoming. Varen returns to the tower in this episode and speaks to Egwene about dreaming. Right.
Mhm.
I went back and forth. I don't know if the stone ring is going to appear here or not, but I think you're just going to start to get a sense of what dreaming is and the fact that Egwene can do it. And all of this is really all B and C plot because the main thing here is that Neva's acceptance test happens in this episode. This should be the main episode. Main focus of the episode should be big. My predictions for the 3 different things that happened during her acceptance test is: what if Child Nynaeve could save her parents? What would
Elnor
happen if
Snur.
Moraine never came to the
Elnor.
Elnor
Right.
Snur.
What could happen if Moraine never came to the 2 rivers? And then what if Nynaeve were married to the land as Queen of Malkier? And those are the 3 tests that she goes through. That's
Those
my
are
prediction.
what's in the book too, right?
I don't
Agenor
think
is in the
saving her
book?
parents is in the book. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's-
yeah. That's the one that's different. Yeah, the first one is different.
No,
Sorry.
and the second one is she goes back to the 2 rivers and like some other
These
woman's
Congers,
wisdom.
the wisdom and everything is terrible.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not, is it
Oh,
Daisy?
So-
you have what would happen if she remained in the she never left.
If
the
they
Two
all
Rivers.
remain, like, I think it's going to be like, and this is where you're going to see the scene of Perrin with his kid. Like, it's going to be idyllic for years. and then all the Trollocs are going to come and kill everybody.
Okay.
So that's episode 3. Any other notes?
I'm sorry. Did Moraine and Lan do anything
In
in this
episode
episode?
3?
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on.
This is why I'm gonna have to interrupt you every time you're doing them, just because I'm gonna forget to go back on things.
No, they're not. They're traveling in this episode.
Okay. We get a Lan
is that
walking
in the-
past the seven towers in Malkier scene.
Yeah, Lan's in the episode. That's it.
Land riding a horse.
Lan riding a horse.
Yeah, this is the Moraine sleepless episode of the season.
Does she wake up all of a sudden to something happening?
No, I was like I think it's the third
It's
episode.
episode 3. That's what it was, like 4 of those in a row or something in episode 3 of season 1. Or that was episode
right.
2. It was
Episode
episode 2.
two.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, episode 3 is the one where Moraine is like passed out for most of the episode while Lan's going to find Lan. Anyway, all right, so we're on to episode 4 of season 2, Strangers and Friends. Cold open. Moraine, as a young child, discovers she can channel,
Whoa.
aka Carrie-Anne is awful. All right. So Rand dreams of Ishii again, and when he wakes up, he's channeling fire. The inn that he's in catches a flame. Suddenly, Moraine is there. He thinks it's still a dream and goes to kill her or somehow incapacitate her. Lan intervenes, and Moraine explains that this is real. She has come to tell him that he cannot hide. She takes him from the foregate.
I want
to
to
the
stop
inner
you
city.
there. Sorry. Where does the blood come from on Rand that we see in that image?
From him, I think I said that when we did the Terrell breakdown, from him trying to put out his fiery hands,
Okay.
just him slamming them to try and put them out. So Perrin and the Shannarans have taken a Waygate. They are now on Toman Head. They're attacked by White Cloaks, and in the fracas, Elias is killed. Perrin wolfs out, killing White Cloaks in a rage, and frees White Cloak prisoners, including Avienda.
You mean Aiel prisoners?
Prisoners of the White Cloaks.
The prisoners of the White Cloaks.
Okay. Okay.
The girls celebrate Nynaeve's raising to accept it, but the celebration is interrupted by a call to the Amerlin's chambers. She explains to them that the Black Aja is real, and she wants them to help her hunt them. She will give them more information upon her return, but she must travel. She puts them on their guard to trust no one, to be prepared to leave the tower at a moment's notice if needed. She then dismisses them as she needs to take care of something else that's overdue. She visits Matt in his room and says that he's free to go. He doesn't trust her, and she explains that he reminds her of her uncle. It's that story that she tells in the book. Her uncle, died, claiming that he wasn't a hero either, but she doesn't believe that the pattern wants Taviran locked away. He's free to make his own way, whatever that is. Matt wanders the tower and comes across the warders training. Gowan is still kind of a tool, so Matt wagers that he could beat him in a duel, and does. Matt feels lucky and decides to gamble some in Tarvalon to raise some money to follow Fane and the dagger.
Okay, I want to say something here about Swan. I'm almost positive that, and I think this might be in Kiki Ari's video, that the picture of Swan and Kyrian is from episode 4.
So, all right,
I think I'm not 100% sure.
This is not to knock Kiki Ari at all, and I think it should.
I think you're going
because
to knock
I'm not knocking her.
Oh
but
boy.
I will say this:
Oh,
I don't find
careful.
a way that what she is predicting happens in certain episodes makes any sense to me. And I just think that they filmed these things out of order when people were available. So even though they were filming these episodes at a certain time, the scenes were for different episodes. It's the only thing that makes sense to me, because I don't see any way that Swan goes to carry in episode 2 or 3 or something like that, whatever it was. Like, I think it needs to be a little bit later in the season for it to make sense for me.
Mhm.
I may be wrong, and that's fine. I'm probably wrong about 90% of this, but like that's the only way it works in my brain. So,
I'm just gonna beep this whole thing out of the episode. I'll leave it in, but just put a beep over it. Beep 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 beep.
Okay.
Beep.
All right.
I'll replace Kiki Ari's name with like Omar.
Sounds good.
Omar.
Omar.
All right. So this is okay. Well, this is bad editing on my part. Because I have the scene already happening.
So there's no, we didn't have anything with Leandrin yet talking to the girls and trying to lure them out of the tower.
No,
That
I
doesn't happen.
originally had that. That's going to happen next.
Okay. So Perrin, you have Perrin going through a Waygate to Toman Head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think there's potential that this different stories are going to be on different timelines?
Yes, I do.
I have a question. How do the Aiel, and the answer is probably just they walk, but get like all the way over there? Like I had to
They've been
like consult the map, and like they never in the books they stay like near the mountains and they go to Tyr.
Yeah, they're on the east coast.
So
the east side.
they cross the entire continent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's insane. That's what I was having trouble with. Like how? Oh shit! I spilled my drink. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Like
Just
how?
Don't talk. No one can hear you.
How is my question? How?
strong
That's-
legs.
that's what I-
Yeah, I mean
but
they
yeah.
could run
Having a
like as
problem.
fast as horses, right? Somehow Aiel can run as fast as people can run as
I don't
fast as
know.
horses.
I don't think it run as fast. I think they just run longer than horses can run.
I feel like they mentioned they can outrun horses or
Yeah, but I
keep up with
think they
horses.
mean like over time, not in like a
Yeah.
100-meter dash.
Like I asked you guys this afternoon, but if we have a 2-month break, what country, how far do you think that the Shienarans have gotten when we pick up on this?
I imagine 2 months can get you clear across the continent or close to it.
Really?
Yeah.
They're on horses. They're traveling.
Because it took like like a month to
I
get
never
from like
see them on
Shadar
horses.
Logoth, like a little bit past Shadar Logoth to Tarvalon, which is like
They were
this much
walking
of
though
the
on
map,
foot, and they had
I
no
guess,
like
and-
food and real money, and so
Yeah.
I
they
mean
could
even the Aes
probably-
Sedai did. I mean the Aes Sedai were further west a little bit, but yeah, the Shienarans. I didn't see horses in any of the pictures or footage that we got from them, but I would assume
They're
they'd be
riding on horses in the trailer.
Oh, that's right. The wide shot of them, right? That's them
Yeah.
yeah.
traveling.
He talked about the horses in the
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah,
So there's your answer,
they're
horses.
dismounted when they're searching the town or whatever, but they're riding on horses. They can make it. I told you the math, probably roughly around 2,400 miles. I don't know. I didn't look at the map to find out how long that distance is
I just
across
don't
the
want it to
Westlands.
be like
But they're taking
Game
away
of
gates.
Thrones traveling. Well, now
But
yes,
yeah.
they are taking away gate. The Aiel are not taking away gate.
So how
they-
do
Yeah,
they? How so? Loyal, I guess, helps them find a way gate, right? Loyal's with them. That makes
Yeah,
that
and,
makes sense.
and
he
explains to them
opens
about
it.
the trefoil leaf.
Something he didn't mention at all in the first season.
Yeah, they could have did that to get out of the ways and not had
It's only
Moraine
on
channel.
you need one. Like I think
can't
they're
do
gonna
it on
change
the
it. Like you need to have it, and they're only on the outside. Like you got to take it with you, kind of a thing.
It's a weird thing. To
How does that
not
work
bring
in
up
the
first
books?
time you
Isn't
go
there a
through the
leaf
ways.
on
There's
the-
one on the inside
Is-
and one on the
Yeah,
outside.
there's two, right? Yeah. Okay.
And also it's like, well, you have a channeler, so you can just channel. I have to like find the thing. I don't
He
know where
probably
it is.
tried
It's
to
pitch black.
say it, and someone interrupted
Someone
him.
definitely interrupted him.
Um,
So, what do they go to a steading? Do we get a steading visit then, or no?
yeah, I think that we're gonna see a steading. I don't know if we're gonna get like a full steading visit now, but which was originally was thinking that. I don't know if you're gonna get like, here's how the ogre lived, but I think you're gonna see a
Mhm.
steading.
And what does Rand do in this episode?
Rand
Dream
meets up with
this-
Moraine, and
There was a
like-
dream, right? Okay.
yeah, it's a dream thing. You just kill Moraine, and Moraine and Lan kind of tell him that he didn't succeed, that the Forsaken are still alive and the Dark Ones not killed.
Yeah, which
and-
I'm sure he realizes when he's getting these dreams.
right.
Yeah.
That like they're basically saying it's not just a dream. Like this is like we've come to find you because we're not done.
One more
right.
question, and you might be getting to this in the later episode. Is Barthanas going to figure into this? Is this or is
Yeah.
okay coming up? Okay, go ahead, continue.
All right. Episode 5, Damani. So this is where I made a mistake because I already had this later on. I already has it earlier on, but I'm going to say this again. I realize I also made another mistake, so we're going to swap this out. This will be a cold open that is going to be. Let's see. Hold on a second. This is going to be. I'm guessing. I'm going to swap out the cold open from episode 4 that Moraine discovers she can channel and put that here at episode 5.
Okay.
And episode 4's cold open is going to be Moraine and Swan in the tower. That scene that you see in the trailer.
Okay.
But just to be clear, this is the scene that happens at the end of episode 1. I didn't make it clear that Ishamael buys his loyalty or buys his way into Turok's advisorship by presenting him with the Horn of Valir.
But he's already
that's
advising
what-
him, isn't he?
This is
No,
a
no. I'm
flashback?
saying I made a mistake when I was writing this up and put that scene in here twice.
Oh.
But like this is what he brings the Horn of Valir to Turok, and that's what gets him his access the same way that it works for Fate in the books. All right, so forget about that cold open stuff because I made a mistake. Perrin and the White Cloaks run into patrol of Shanshan in the night.
Wait,
They refuse to surrender
Perrin
and
and
get
Yael.
blown away by the Saddam and Damani. Perrin refuses to fight, still worried about the blood in his hands and wolfing out. Later, they are made to swear oaths of loyalty and then surprisingly are allowed to go on their way. Loyal is captured and made to Cavalia, however.
Okay.
Um,
You Perrin and the Aiel, you mean, right?
No,
You said
Aiel
Perrin
are
and the
not-
White Cloaks.
no, Perrin and oh, it's Perrin and the
Shannarans.
and the Shannarans, sorry.
Okay. Oh,
The
so
Aiel, they just free at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Egwene dreams of Perrin in trouble and Rand as well. She sees Mat weighing options on the scale, darkness or light. She knows her friends are in trouble and somehow Rand is still alive, but she doesn't know what to do about it. Elaine and Nynaeve give her conflicting advice. She goes to Varen about her dreams in general, not specifically, and this is where Varen gives her the stone ring Terangriel. Rand is brought by Moraine to the Damodred Estates and is inadvertently thrust into the world of Dais Damar, simply by asking about Selene, who he believes to be a minor noble here in Carrion. He has nightmares of the Foregate being destroyed by Moraine, by Selene, by himself. Land feels empathy for Rand, begins to train him in the use of his father's sword, teaching him about duty, honor, sheathing the sword, all that good stuff. Moraine, almost against her will, is enmeshed in the old game of houses. She deals with the guilt and the blame of her family for abandoning them to the tower and the tower's causes. Finally, Egwene decides she must leave the tower to help her friends. Nynaeve is all in, but to their surprise, Elaine, who has been advising against this, is also in. As they're getting ready, the Andrin comes upon them. She has been given the same mission by the Amerlin to hunt Black Aja. She knows where they are, and where Perrin and Rand will be.
I'll bet she
They're in
does.
Thom. She escorts the group through the ways. When there, it's a trap. The Shanshan are waiting, and Egwene fights the Damani while Elaine and Nynaeve run. The collar snaps around Egwene's neck. That's the end of this episode.
In the book, they all run like in different.
No,
I think is it
Elaine runs.
it's told-
Nynaeve also starts to get collared, and Min stabs that person, and
Okay.
they get away, and Egwene gets captured.
Yeah, I just like
whose
they're
perspective is
only-
that told from? Is it told from Min's?
I think it's from Min's point. They're only planning to capture the two girls, not Elaine.
right. They don't know that they're all.
They
gonna
don't know
be-
they're there, so they only have two collars ready.
Yeah, and,
Um,
and Min gets captured too.
Yes.
I just want to know, like, the only way Nynaeve would run is if like everyone's running.
Well, from the books, there's like explosions everywhere, and
Right, I
right,
know.
there's
but
not
I
really
just
much of a
feel like-
choice.
I know.
Right.
I know.
Nynaeve
But it looks like
can't-
Egwene is staying to fight while like Elaine runs. and, like, you
it's
don't see
more
that
like
in-
I can channel, you can't channel. I'll run,
oh,
I'll
Nynaeve
cover
can
us.
channel, but Elaine
Yeah.
can channel.
Elaine runs away. Like that's what she just does. And then Egwene says, I'll cover you. Let's go. Egwene thinks she's hot shit. You can probably take them all
Right,
too.
but
She's
then-
not
yeah.
worried necessarily.
Yeah, it's very
And
easy
you
to
look
get
at that-
split up. in the
Yeah.
and
I know. It just
yeah, I think you go back and you see it from maybe Nynaeve's perspective or something, and it's kind of like a flashbacky, and or I forget, it's either Nynaeve or Elaine, and
yeah. I think you have Nynaeve and Elaine like meeting up in
yes,
the woods or whatever after it's
yeah,
over.
it's just all
So-
hell, yeah, shit hits the
Yeah.
fan, and everybody just gets split up, and
Hot shit hits the fan.
Oh,
Yeah.
so I know Zul was asking in chat, like, in the one image we saw of Min, her head was shaved, that she's a Dakavali. Min is not leaving. In my mind, Min is in Tarvalon this season and stays there. And that's it. Like, the only time she appears with Rand is in a dream, and she doesn't leave there. She's in there because otherwise there's no reason for her to go. Like, why would she go back at the end of the beginning of next season? Doesn't really make a lot of sense. And she's got to be there for next season. So yeah, I think that it's just a
for the tower
coincidence. She's
coup.
got a buzz cut. Yeah. So now I'm putting it in here that the scene of Min that we've seen, the still shot in Rand's shack in place is a dream sequence that's already happened. All right. Episode 6.
Hold on,
Sorry,
hold
go
on.
ahead, Joe.
Just thinking about. I think
Well-
everything's good. I'm still still not on board with the
sorry.
Ishi parts, but go ahead, Jen. Sorry.
Like Loyal getting captured and everyone else just leaving and being like
Well,
I'm not sure. But that's.
I think
problem
they've
for me.
already, like, it's already clearly been proven to them that they're not fighting them. Like,
I
they've
know,
already
but-
did that and lost handily. Like, and they think that they're all going to get captured, and then, like, no, it's just him. The rest of them they're just going to leave them alone.
I also think it's interesting that you have the Aiel, after Perrin rescues the Aiel, that they part ways, and obviously are going to meet up again.
They don't actually.
Oh, the
Really
Aiel
go that far
tracking-
away.
Aiel tracking them.
Yeah, the AO are just like, that's not why we're here.
So do you think when Perrin rescues the Aiel, there's a conversation and like the Dragon Reborn or the Kara Karn, or he who comes with the dawn comes up,
He who comes from the dawn is mentioned. Yeah, but not
and does Perrin make
Um,
the connection?
yet.
Okay.
Next episode.
Okay.
Well,
Oh,
so
actually,
I want
yeah,
to make
'cause-
comments, but I don't want to give away mine.
Good thing I don't have barely any of mine together. I'm
Like,
just
I'll
asking
just say-
questions based
I'll
off.
just say like Avienda has toe to Perrin after he saves her,
She does say
Yeah.
that in
and
the.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, but again, like, she's
Okay, it's
not.
fine. Yeah, no one's
Yeah.
right or wrong. I'm just saying like what.
Oh,
Yeah.
somebody's right
Right
and
there.
somebody's wrong. We just
Well,
don't know
I
yeah.
yet.
think we're.
Or we're
I
all
think
wrong.
we're all wrong. Like, let's not. let's
Nobody's
not-
right. We're all
Mine's
wrong.
gonna be perfect. I
Different
don't know
ways.
what you're talking
we're all
about.
wrong.
All right.
I mean, we're gonna be much. I hope much closer than we were for season 1, where I had a
we
10-hour
know so
episode
much
taking place
less.
in Camelin.
We know so much less this season than we did the first
No,
season.
we don't.
Jen, we literally have no idea any storyline, how it gets from point A to point
We'd have no idea what
don't.
Matt's gonna do.
We don't know what Matt's
season.
gonna do. We
Right,
don't
but we know what
Perrin's
Perrin's
gonna do.
doing. We
We
know who
don't
he's
know-
meeting.
And how does any? We have no idea. We don't know how he gets from one part of the world to the other. We don't know how Rand does that. We don't know what Matt does. We don't know like any of that. We have
But a
the
lot of what you're
pretty
saying
basic
is
understanding
like
of the girls' storyline.
we
Maureen's
Maureen's
talked about it so
storyline
much, and I
is-
think we're all kind of on the same wavelength about like what's gonna happen. So I don't think our episodes are gonna be like
Radically
that
different?
broadly that different. Like there'll be differences, but not like
Yeah.
crazy different.
All right, Tom. Episode 6.
Episode 6, Dies Damar. Cold open. Egwene gets dragged to the Damane pens. You see her struggle, be racked with pain until she passes out, and she wakes up in a cell-like room. This room should mirror darkly her room in the tower. I do want to have, over these next 2 episodes, a lot of contrasting between how Egwene was trained in the tower and how she is trained as a Damane, right? All right, Matt is ready to leave. He hasn't seen Leandrin in days and feels like if he goes now, he can get away without anyone noticing. As he makes his way out, he runs into Gowan, who's in a near panic. He hasn't seen Elaine, the amulet is in the tower, and no one will give him an answer. When he mentions that Egwene and Nynaeve are also missing, Matt changes his mind about leaving. Rand is training with Lan, and he is summoned before the Amerlin Seat, who has traveled to Carrion. He gets told his fate and his responsibility by her. When he replies that he doesn't even want to channel, he can't control it anyways, it doesn't make a difference. He is told that there is someone who may be able to help him. Perrin is at a loss. Elias is gone, Loial is taken, the horn is lost. He dreams the wolf dream again and finds that Hopper is still there, still alive in the dream. He learns then that the horn is with the Seanchan. He tells Ingtar that he can do what Elias did and they can still find the horn. Moiraine, Rand, and Land are invited to a party at Moraine's cousin's estate, Lord Barthanes. They attend. Rand is dressed and presented as a lord and is involved in intrigues he doesn't fully understand when he's asked to come to the gardens by an attendant that a friend is waiting for him. Now he assumes this is Selene, but is surprised to see Logain, brought by the tower for channeling advice.
So
they talk.
So I'm sorry. Stopping you there.
Let him finish
So
his
Logain's at the Barthanes party?
Yes.
Does he get invited?
This is my explanation as to why he is in one outfit when he's meeting with the Amerlin, and a different, fancier outfit when he is meeting. He's fancier to me when he's meeting Logain.
So Barthanes sent
Logain's in his pajamas.
No, he's
Barthanes-
there. They're going to this party as like this is a way that you could be somewhere that no one knows where you are, and we're going to stick this guy in so you can see him. So like Rand doesn't understand why Moiraine has accepted this invitation or why they're going the whole time. And then when he gets there, he finds out the reason why that they accepted, the reason why they went.
So this
is
whole
because
party's a ruse and a cover for Rand to meet Logain.
They're attending the
Interesting.
party is a ruse to meet Logain. The party was going to happen no matter what. They accepted the invitation while they've denied every other invitation they were sent.
So that
Because-
image of Rand and Logain is from the party.
Yes, Barthanes' gardens.
Barthanes is serving breakfast cereal at his party, or maybe a consomme.
A watery stew is all I could swallow in my depressed state.
So
So-
Swan okays like Logain just being out of the White Tower's.
Yeah, I've
possession or
mentioned
custody?
this before on the show, but I am I'm very much all about that. Swan's not particularly good at what she does in the books for the first few books, and I want her to make increasingly bad, like desperate. This is the only decision that I see I can make decisions that lead to her eventual downfall. I think that when she gets back in season 3, that they found out you lost the daughter of Andor, you snuck out like if these are the things that come to light and not like, oh, you knew that the dragons were born, but you didn't tell everybody right away. Like, that's not a reason to, in my mind, a sane reason to say like, yeah, we should kill her. Like, which is what like people want to do. So I think, yeah, this is your unbelievably poor decision making again and again and again and again. You're too dangerous to be in charge anymore. I want that to be the case. So anyway, they talk. It's not particularly a hopeful conversation. The Amerlin's guards escort Logain away as the Amerlin must return to Tar Valon. All right. So Matt, back at the tower, is spying as Liandrin returns, burning evidence of what she has done. What that evidence is unimportant because I couldn't think of what it could be. Now she speaks to the woman that he saw earlier, and it's revealed here that Liandrin is Black Ajah. And she's betrayed the girls to the Seanchan to be enslaved. As Matt turns to do something with this information, he sees that Verin is also spying. Verin offers to help him rescue his friends, if he chooses to. Nynaeve and Elaine are hiding in Falme. They are being protected and hidden by an honest boat captain and tradesman named Bail Doman, who is rankled under Seanchan law. They worry about Egwene, who they have not seen in some days. Egwene is having the thumbscrews put to her by Saladam. This has got to be as brutal as possible. This should include the reveal of an Aes Sedai who has been completely broken as Damane. It should also be the opposite of the slow and steady approach to the tower and blatantly be forcing Egwene to do as much as she could possibly do with no regard for her own safety.
I want to stop you there. There's something I forgot to mention in that same article. that Watt series posted about Colin Kerr. It also talked about previously reported Nyokabi Gathaiga. She's going to be in season 2 and 3 in an unknown role, or at least originally it was an unknown role. CB has been updated to show the role of Rima, who is a yellow sister who's captured by the Seanchan off screen in The Great Hunt and turned into a damane named Puora.
There you go. Right, it could be her. If they get Megan back from season 1, or the former head of the Blue, it could be her as well.
Yes.
It could be both of them.
Yeah.
Right. It's basically just designed to show two things: one, the hopelessness of Egwene's situation, but two, the strength that she has that the regular rank and file Aes Sedai do not.
All right.
Back to the party, Lord Barthanes gets visited by Padan Fain. Here you go, he's back in the midst of the party. Fain indicates that they should talk with his cousin and her guests. When all arrive, Fain murders Barthanes, taunts Rand that Egwene is captured in Falme, and the Dark One has the Horn of Valir, and then burns the house down to cover his escape. That is episode 6.
Yikes.
Fain burns the house down.
Yeah.
Quick question, right? The scene from the trailer with the front gate exploding.
We know
Yes.
what that is.
That's from Kyrian, supposedly that's set.
You know what that is, Joe.
understand.
We've already talked about this.
Yeah, I don't
What
know.
do you mean?
Doesn't
We
work-
did already
doesn't work
talk
for me.
about this, but
Yeah.
I've talked about that. That's Kyrian. That's Kyrian set.
It's a flashback.
Oh yeah.
Remember?
So
think
you
it's
have that as a flashback to,
Well, I didn't put it in yet, but yeah.
The
but
War.
I have that as maybe that was filmed in the Carrion set, but that doesn't make any sense to me. That why would Aiel be getting blown away in Carrion by an explosion?
Well, I think Jen's theory was probably the best one.
that happened some time ago.
Yeah, it could be a cold open.
Sometimes
Could be.
when we're doing this, I feel that it's more fun to just like not take every single bit of information we have into account.
No,
Like we're not gonna make
Right.
this the show. So
I'm
like
gonna make
so
this
if
the
I
show.
if somebody's like, oh, this
the
person,
big show.
I write the whole thing out and then like, oh, this person filmed it. Like I don't care. I'm just
Right.
doing it as like a writing
again, like,
exercise.
But we have all the there's plenty of footage of explosions happening with pop. It looks like the 4 gate.
yeah, I had that happening in the previous thing as like a dream that Rand has of
That's
like
just all part of a dream.
Moraine, Lanfear, Celine, him, all causing destruction to wherever he's been. I understand that that's Carrion. I still have that as a
Right.
battle in Falme because that's the only place that I have Aiel explosions. In my
I like the
rankings.
idea though, and Jen, you're probably going to put this in there, and I'm probably going to put this in there too. Of if we're going to go to Kyrian, let's get a little history about Kyrian and
Yeah.
what the deal is, and putting a cold open of like the Aiel War, because that obviously pertains both to the history of Kyrian and also Rand's history. So I like that in there. So I'm going to disagree with you, Tom, and I'm putting in a cold
I
open.
think that like,
That's fine.
could get
when it's
that.
your episode, you can do it.
but also like Maureen's sister is on the show, right? So she could be talking to her and just like, you
Oh,
could have
right.
been
Did we have someone
queen.
cast as Caroline?
Yes. We could have been queen if this happened, like just like, I don't know, it could be just brought up in a
Yeah, I think
conversation
that-
too, like the whole Laman and whatever. When Uncle Laman was terrible. Remember what he did? Remember?
Good old Unk.
Not Caroline, they're saying in chat.
No, she's
Didn't
awesome.
she have a sister? Wasn't it
She's a
Maureen's
sister in the show. Her sister is cast.
But it's not Caroline.
Caroline's her
like-
cousin.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Who kind of looks a lot like her. Which
Yes.
I don't know where.
All right,
All right.
episode 7.
Episode 7, Eyes Without Pity. Cold open is the Aiel wise ones. Send the Aiel over the dragon wall. They must find he who comes with the dawn. Perrin works with the Aiel and the Shinarans on a plan of attack. It's been revealed that the Aiel have been following them and secretly protecting them this whole time from Comet. Masema has gone undercover, swearing to be a soldier for the Seanchan. Ingtar seems almost unhinged with desperation to find the horn. Perrin tries to get the Aiel to punish him for his sins, and they explain Jito, or at least try to, plus how he's dishonoring his wife by removing her choice to fight from the cause of her death. The White Cloaks are reconvening, and finally, Geoffrey Bornhold pulls rank on Valda and the rest. What's been going out west with the Shanshin is far more important than one dark friend, Paradise Bara. He leads the troop to investigate and perhaps combat this deadly threat. Matt and Varen stand at the Waygate en route to Falm. Matt hesitates, then enters the Waygate. Bran, Moiraine, and Lan make their way to a Waygate to travel to Falm. Bran has to channel because Moiraine still can't, and something goes wrong. Flicker, flicker, flicker.
Ooh.
These things happen at the same time. Matt entering his Waygate and Rand trying to activate his. Egwene continues to resist her training, and the Saddam lets her know that she's clearly been too lenient. This is when things truly begin to be awful for her, and this should end that lesson about grabbing what happens when you try and grab the bracelet, which leaves Egwene alone, racked with pain and frustration, screaming. These are the scenes you've seen in the trailer, in both the teaser and the trailer, right? Nynaeve and Elaine decide to work together to develop a plan to rescue Egwene. Doman will allow them his boat as a chance to escape if they can get it to the docks, but he do no be helping otherwise. The two women find that when they work together, they make an effective pair. They also meet Loial, who they bring into their plan. Rand, Moiraine,
So Loyal
Lan,
plays
and
like
Matt.
I'm sorry, Loyal plays like the Min role.
Yeah,
He's the inside man.
he's the inside man.
This ain't no bank
he's-
robbery. It's my best Denzel.
Okay.
Like 50% Denzel.
Yeah,
Is that better than
60
Tony's?
Is it like
is that-
62%?
It's definitely
Is that
better than
better than
Yes.
Tony's Morgan Freeman impersonation?
My friend
Yeah,
Andy.
we're just making references that no one gets. So Rand, Moiraine, Lan, and Matt awaken at
Woo.
Falm. Varen is not there. Matt exclaims to Rand that he'd never betray him. You gotta believe me. Rand realizes that everybody went through some version of what he just did with the flicker, flicker, flicker.
So they go into separate waygates, but they end up in Falm at the same place. at the
Whatever
same time.
Rand does wrong, because Matt's going through at the same time, he gets caught up in it. Yeah, that's,
Okay.
that's what I'm saying here. Matt lets them know that the girls are also captured by the Shanshin, and Rand is now more determined than ever to free them. That is episode 7.
I'm liking a lot of your stuff, man. It's way better than what I've been thinking of. So
Oh, thank you.
I
Appreciate
feel
that.
like the rest of these breakdown. I'll do mine next. I think next week
Oh,
because
I want to do mine next.
that means mine's going to be the biggest letdown. Then all right, I can
You
spice it up.
crib the most from us.
I'm
Make everything
gonna
good. And
I could
I wanna do
spice it
mine.
up
I
and put
can't
some
wait.
interesting bits in there.
I'm dying. I can't wait 2 weeks.
You'll have to wait a whole week, Jen.
No, I can't wait 2 weeks though.
No, that's what I'm saying. You go.
You're saying
you
she
wait
has
1
to
week.
go next week. She can't wait 2
Yes,
weeks
you
to go.
can. You can
Yeah.
go next week. That's fine. I have no
Thank
problem
you.
with that. Yeah, I will say, like, with these 3 episodes, I kind of have in my head, I'm imagining like you have Damane as episode 5, and at the end she gets captured, right?
Yeah.
See, I would probably put Dice Daimar in that episode and have some of that stuff going on, and I would still have the end of the episode Egwene being captured, but then the next episode 6, be Damane, because that's when you're getting like her training and learning what it means to be a Damane. So that's why I would like reverse it a little bit. But yeah, I'm still torn about like what happens in Cairhien and the order that all that stuff happens. Definitely not. Don't have Logain going to Barthanas' party, but
Yeah.
definitely not putting that in there.
Yeah, I think you could flip flop when those two things happen. Like he meets Logain first, and then
Yeah.
the Amaryllis seat just has a room in Barthanas' manor to meet with him.
Oh
You
wow.
could flip flop those things.
Ooh. Ugh. Poor
but-
choice. She
yeah,
could be
so-
keeping. Right, they're one of the second most powerful family in Cairhien, so it potentially could make sense that Swan stays with them as opposed to the king. Interesting. All right.
I
episode-
would say
sorry.
this for your Damane thing. While all of us book readers understand what's going to happen to Egwene, that's going to be a big surprise to people who don't know.
Mhm.
And to have an episode called Damane where you see in the beginning what Damane can do, you go, oh, I guess that's the name of the episode. They're pretty powerful. And then at the end, I think that's a good gut punch end of an episode.
All right.
I know though, this is why it's called that. All right, last episode, what was meant to be All right, cold open. The Age of Legends. Lews Therin is mad and has a confrontation with Ishamael. This should be part of the scene that is in the prologue of Eye of the World that leads to Dragon Mount. What my prediction is that they will film the entirety of that, or they have filmed the entirety of that already, but they will use the remainder of that scene plus for episode 8, season 7, including Lews Therin making Dragon Mount itself, which I think that will be the last episode of the 7th season, and will end that episode will start
Save it
with Lews
for
Therin creating Dragon Mount and end with Veins of Gold.
Save it for 10 years from now, Tom.
Yeah, but well, you film it now while Faris is still here, and then you do it. But yeah, I think that you want to bookend this episode with the dragon and Ishamael having a confrontation.
Do we get Ilyena? Do we get him killing his family, or this is
yeah?
After
I think
he's
you have
killed his family,
basically the beginning of that, and then it's like it could literally like end with like Ishamael like healing him of his madness and him realizing what he did, and that could be the whole cold open.
Okay.
And just Ishamael kind of lording it over him that like he lost. All right. Perrin, Ingtar, and the Aiel infiltrate the fortress of Thom. They're going to rescue Loial and get back the horn. Rand, Mat, Moiraine, and Lan infiltrate the fortress of Thom. They're going to rescue the horns and rescue the girls and get back the horn. Elaine and Nynaeve are in Thom. They're going to rescue Egwene, Loial, and get the hell out of there. Egwene is in Thom. She realizes that Saddam can also channel, and if she can only get a collar on one, she can get the hell out of there. Loial comes and tells Egwene that Nynaeve and Elaine are there and that they're going to strike soon. She tells them that she leaves for Seanchan tomorrow. She's been told that. So if they're going to rescue her, it has to be today. The White Cloaks approach Thom. They're
Mr.
going
Cotta.
to cleanse the world of...
Mr. Cotta.
Yeah.
I have a note to add to that. This is so stupid, but I feel like it would fit in here. So if Egwene realizes, like, figures it out that the Soldam can channel, maybe they throw in a scene, and maybe it's when she gets captured that one of the Soldams that's trying to capture her pushes her Damane too hard, and the Damane's face starts to burn.
Ooh, I like that.
And then Egwene makes the connection and says, "Oh, that's kind of like what happened when they were linking." Does that mean
that's good? If that happens, I said it in my episode.
I had to throw in the
like that a lot.
stupid burning face as the
That's a really good. I like that a lot. Or even if it doesn't happen, like even if it doesn't happen during a capture, it could happen during her training. Somewhere in there, she sees it. She makes the connection.
Okay.
That this is another screwed up link, right? The White Cloaks approach Thom. They're going to cleanse the world of evil or die trying. Dane is overzealous, and his father tries to counsel him to use reason and his moral compass and not to be swayed by men like Valda. Everything goes to some sort of fresh hell. Nynaeve and Elaine try the Luke and Chewie bit to get into the Damane quarters, and it works. They get to Egwene's room, and when Rhaena shows up, they slap a collar on her somehow with all the arm shit. And Egwene reveals she knows how to undo the collar, but she cannot do it herself. Elaine and Nynaeve follow her instruction, and they free her. Now, she's ready to go buck nutty, but they now have to get to the docks, and things are starting to sound crazy out there. Bran shows up alone, challenges Turak to a battle. Perrin and the Shinarans come from the side, and they attack the guardsmen while Rand fights Turak. With that distraction going on, Mat, Moiraine, and Lan go to recover the horn and the girls. They first find the horn, but Ishii is there. Now, Moiraine gives the horn to Mat to get it to Rand, and he runs. Moiraine and Lan try to face off against Ishii, even though Moiraine still can't channel. They don't back down, but obviously get overwhelmed quickly. Ishii, because he's a megalomaniacal lunatic, monologues a bit and laughs, explaining to her that she's not severed, she's simply shielded, and he can't believe she's so untrained she wasn't able to get out of it this far. The White Cloaks now charge down the gates. Other Aiel that Aviendha had messaged earlier swarm the walls. The Seanchan now attack all the forces. The battle is everywhere in all directions. Yeoman pieces out. This is crazy for me. Matt, Perrin, Ingtar, and Loyal are pinned down. Ingtar confesses to Perrin what he did, and he was doing all of this to just try and make amends for letting all the forces of evil into Faldara. Perrin tells him that no one can walk in the shadow long enough that they cannot return to the light, and forgives him, and finally himself. Ingvar sacrifices himself to save them for a bit, but finally things are looking dark.
They have to. They
Matt looks
better
at-
make that scene good. They better make this whole
Yeah.
Ingtar payoff work.
I think they will. Matt looks at Perrin, shrugs, and raises the horn to his lips. Bornhold realizes that this is a lost cause. He sends his son out away from the battle to report on what happened here. As Dane is leaving, he hears a horn blast and turns around to see his father also distracted by the horn and fall to a Shanshan blade. He then sees Perrin with the horn sounder and swears revenge. The heroes come as Rand confronts Ishii. The battle rages and seems tied to the champions of the light and the dark and their personal battle. Rand and Ishii fight. Rand sheathes the sword, using the opportunity to land a killing blow on the Shopmile. The Shanshan retreat back to their boats. Hawkwing and Brigitte talk to Matt and Perrin. They name them Horn Sounder and Bannerman for the Dragon, and the heroes peace out after saying, "Don't call us again until the last battle is actually here."
Don't call us. We'll call
Rand
you.
is unconscious. Egwene, Elaine, and Nynaeve find him. Selene shows up then and tells them to watch over him, but warned them that she has marked him as her own. "Who are you?" asks Elaine. "I am Lanfear," she says,
Dum,
and
dum,
disappears.
dum.
The final scene of the season. Rand wakes up, and Moraine, Lan, and the girls help him to his feet. The Shinarans, Aiel, and Falm citizens all are cheering. Althor, dragon. Althor.
Ah,
And
like
that is the end of season 2.
like the Stone of Tyr, the end
Yeah.
of the Dragon Reborn. I like this. I have a question. Before that, thank you, Tom. So I feel like the White Cloaks were lacking a bit. Like, what was their? And I might have missed it because I was trying to follow chat as well. What was their impetus to storm Falm?
So we're basically going to have, and I didn't make this crystal clear, so it's fine to point it out. That like Valda, or Valda's contingent of White Cloaks are going to be like, they're there to try and gain power for the Children of the Light. And then they're like, well, Perrin's here and he's a dark friend. Let's just find him, kill him. That's our goal. And towards the end, Bornhold finally is like, pulls rank and says, look, I know you're a questioner or whatever, but like, we know what's going on here. There's evil here. They're killing people. We're supposed to fight to protect people. We're going to do that instead.
Mhm.
And he leads all of the regular White Cloak soldiers, minus the questioners, to Falm to try and stop or at least protect whatever he can protect. I really am leaning into the Joffrey Bornhold is a good person in this show kind of a thing. And he's going to try and instill those values in his son, while his son is also kind of also being fed all of the overzealous lunatic White Cloak shit. And that's going to be part of his conflict as the season goes on.
Light blended.
So
Fool.
I think it's basically like they're there, and they're there for the same reasons they're there in the beginning. Like, hey, there's unrest here. Let's see if we can get, some more power for us by putting down the unrest or causing more of it. But then Bornhold is like, no, there's bad things happening. We have to, that's our real job, is to fight evil. We have to do that.
The Light Blinded Fool is asking in chat, who you said the person is in front of the torture wheel.
So that's in the Rand. That's the Rand. Oh, that's Lanfear.
Okay.
It's just you don't see her face in that scene. So
Is
that's
that
the scene?
Is that the same dream that you have where they eventually wind up in the room, Rand's room, and it's Min, and Min shows up, and then is she? Or
that's an
you
earlier,
said
that's the
Selene
end of
shows up.
episode. That is the dream that I have in episode 2, where that woman offers Rand everything he could dream of, all
But
the
he
power and
doesn't-
glory that he wants.
It doesn't
he
look like
refuses it.
it doesn't look like Celine though, because he's
No,
met Celine at this
her
point.
face is in shadow. You don't see who it
Okay.
is.
Okay.
And he doesn't put it together. But when he wakes up, Celine is gone. Like Celine's like, oh well, I'm gonna. He's not giving me what I want while we're awake. I'm gonna approach him in his dreams and see what he really wants. And when he's still like, yeah, that's not for me.
That sounds a bit rapey to me, Tom.
She's a lot rapey.
He's not giving me what he wants awake, so I'm gonna get him while he's asleep.
She's pretty rapey.
Well, no, she really wants him to say yes, though.
Yeah,
right?
and basically when he doesn't, she gets frustrated at this point and leaves him. Is what I have going on there.
All right.
And he's still clueless enough that he's like, well, I'll just go where we're gonna go, and maybe she'll come back.
That was a good voice.
I do like it. I like your ending. I like the Dragon Reborn ending with the Althor, with the dragon or whatever. With the White Cloaks. Well, no, what happens? The White Cloaks scatter, right? They're not still there.
They die.
That's what I'm saying. Or die.
Yeah, they're basically everyone. All the White Cloaks, like it's like the books. Basically, all the White Cloaks who don't run away get killed.
And Vald is not part of this charge, right?
No, he basically I don't know for certain, but it looks like he's in the background of the trailer, and so I have him here, like with them, and Bornhold leaves the questioners who are like saying we're not doing that. All we want to do is kill Abara, blah blah blah, like whatever. He's like, you guys stay here. We're gonna do what we're gonna do. So he leaves them behind, and his last words of advice before the battle to his son are, you gotta not listen to guys like that. Like they're not what this is really about.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, Dan is asking, I think it was Dan is asking in chat if Valdo was the one with the crutch. I believe so. I don't know for certain, but I think that's him.
All right. There you go. Tom's season 2 episode breakdowns. I think this is a good place to end it. We'll pick back up next week with Jen's version of season 2, which I'm sure will be quite different.
Yeah.
But also quite similar. Yeah.
In a way.
All right. Let's wrap it up here. I want to remind everyone to follow us on social media. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Join us over in Discord to continue the conversation there. We also post our episodes on YouTube, so go check out our YouTube page and be sure to like and subscribe. Rate and review us wherever you listen to podcasts. That reminds me, Jen, we need to go check the Audible app, right? Didn't we learn that you could leave reviews in the Audible app?
Oh.
I'll have to make a note of
I
that
don't
for
know.
next
I don't know
time.
how to check that. I don't
think-
have the Audible app.
I think Tom was able to look at it last time. We'll have to remember to pull those next week or read something next week. And check out our merchandise and Patreon pages to support us that way. Links to all the aforementioned are included. Sorry, I have to say that again.
What?
Links to all the aforementioned information are included in the show notes to this episode. Any last thoughts, Tom, Jen?
I'm pouring sweat. It is hot, and that was stressful.
It
Yeah,
is very hot.
disgusting.
I'm pretty sweaty too. So glad we could share that with our listeners before we go. So, thanks everyone for listening, and you'll hear us next time.